So, hey everyone, welcome back. We got Dude in the house. Dude, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing all right.
Yeah, so I mean, I think some of the viewers out there, they do know you already. I mean, you have launched, was it actually, was it the first or no, the second build on TITANX project, right?
Third, you got Dragon X and Titan Legends both launched same day before us.
Oh, all right, I
Yeah.
remember that. Okay. But yeah, but you're definitely like one of the bigger projects because the other one was like more an NFT project. So Dragon X, and then the bigger project was Helios then.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I intend on Helios being a core Titan X project for, forever. Hey,
That's fantastic. So I mean, today we're here together to speak about Element 280, but probably just I don't know, a little recap was like for you. How would you say
I'm getting
how
some
Helios?
feedback here.
Sorry, hello. All right, guys. I think we're having some technical difficulties for a second. Dude is going to fix some issues on his end. All right. Hello. Sorry, guys. Dude has some issues on his end, so we're just gonna wait and see. Yeah. So, guys, dude is fixing some technical issues. While we're at it, we're gonna be talking about Element 280. So, while we're waiting for dude to fix his issues, we're gonna have here the QR code for you guys to join who are new out there. So I'm gonna say hi to everybody here. So we got proof of sleep, sending some fire emojis. So that's great. Adam, sorry, is that Adam? No, Adamus saying, "What's up? Hey man, what's up?" Sorry guys, we're waiting for dude to arrive. He had some technical difficulties, but he is going to be with us in a second. So I mean, while we're waiting for him, probably I'm just going to sh- share the general agenda for you guys. Uh, we are going. Oh, we got dude in the. All right. Hey, dude, how's it going?
Sorry about that. That was really weird. It was really weird. I was getting
No,
yeah. Anyways.
no worries. Yeah. So well, basically what I was just saying is like probably like a quick recap before we jump into the new project, Element 280. Yeah, how Helios has been so far for you.
I am loving it. I'm loving it. It's doing exactly as intended. Our TITANX treasury is growing. I was just looking at the global percent that we have staked, and
Yes.
it's going up slightly. We're at like 3.1% right now, which is awesome. And all of these other projects I'm building on top of, even though E280 is not necessarily a build on Helios project, it's feeding funds to Helios, so it's going to help us. All the TITANX that we're bringing in is going to help boost that staking amount. So
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. So we are going to talk about the Helios treasury as well regarding the Element 280, but I am going to share my screen right now so that we can get started. So while you're away, I was already giving the viewers the option here to check out the Telegram and Twitter for Element 280. So there you go. You have the QR code right here. Please join. Dude is gonna explain to you the project today. We're gonna go through it as always, as you know me, how I like to do things in the interview. So probably just gonna have a quick general agenda how I like to uh, do this interview. Firstly, we're gonna talk about Element 280 elevator pitch. So dude is gonna give us a quick elevator pitch for Element 280, so people get at least like a little like I mean, so that they know what they're getting into the project. And then the second part, we're going to talk about the Element 280 tokenomics and the NFT. So yeah, and then lastly, we're going to talk about the ecosystem integration. So one, we're going to talk about the TITANX distribution, the LP creation, buy and burn, and lastly, the reward pool. So As you guys know, don't forget to spank that like button. And obviously, this show is provided to you by titanxsub.com. And check out the titanxsub.com/premium. So there you go.
I love
All
it.
right, dude. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so that people can see. Okay, that was a bit too much. So, dude, I wrote down 3 points here, and essentially, I'm gonna let you flow now with the elevator pitch.
Yeah, sure. Really, what Element 280 is, it's an NFT collection and a token, and it's aimed to be a one-stop shop for TITANX users. So as you guys know, like we've got an explosion of projects coming out, which is completely bullish for the ecosystem. I love it. But what we're noticing is for newer people, they're kind of overwhelmed when they find out about TITANX. They go to TITANX Hub and then they see 20 projects listed and they're like immediately overwhelmed. So what we're aiming to be is like an onboarding tool, or anybody that wants to diversify. This is a one-stop shop. You mint an NFT or you hold these E280 tokens, and it's like holding a piece of the entire ecosystem. As far as the NFTs go, they are backed by E280 tokens, which the primary reason for that is that it helps make those NFTs liquid. So, if you're wanting to sell your NFT, you've got to list it on a marketplace, wait for somebody to buy it, and then you get your, exchange. Whereas if you're impatient, you don't have to do that process. You can just burn your NFT, collect those tokens that are backing it, and now you are liquid. You can take those tokens to the market sell, whatever you want to do with it. And then also holding the NFT gives you passive rewards in E280 tokens. No lockup, no staking required. It just simply hold the NFT. So
That's fantastic. I think you touched essentially on all points regarding the Element 280 token. So we're gonna dive a bit deeper now. I think for some people out there, I think they got the gist of what this project is about. So now we're gonna dive a bit deeper, and we're gonna check. We're gonna have a look at the Element 280 tokenomics and NFTs. So you just mentioned regarding the NFT and the token. So from what I've been reading, so this is essentially an NFT token hybrid. Is that correct?
yes, but really, like, we're trying not to fuse them together because there's lots of people that are not interested in NFTs whatsoever, and we don't want them to be turned off by this. Like, you don't have to deal with NFTs at all if you don't want to. You can just mint just tokens. So it is an NFT/token hybrid, but it also is just tokens.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So now as a user, you have two options essentially, right? That's one, the token minting, and or you can do the NFT minting. But essentially, from what I'm seeing, is like they're more or less the same thing actually, from point of view, right?
Yeah,
What's the
there's
difference here, probably?
there's very few differences. Well, for one, if just the token minting, you are getting that one for one. You can mint as little or as much as you want. But there's no rewards associated with it. It's literally just holding a token. That's where the NFT side of things come in. That's adding the passive income for holding that NFT. That allows you to earn E280 tokens. That's the main difference.
Okay, I see. So probably let's just look at the left side here, which is the token minting. I read that the mint phase is 28 days. So could you just walk through how you as a user probably like how that works out, especially what is the because I'm seeing also you can send Titanix or also ETH. So could you explain how that works?
Yeah, just real quick, the mint phase was extended from what we had initially on the stream with Mo. Just FYI for people that might be confused, we decided to extend the mint phase for a few factors, but so it is 28 days. So we're minting tokens here. It is a cost 1-for-1. So we'll just start with just TITANX. Everything in E280 is priced in TITANX. But we're adding the ETH purchase functionality again to as we're attracting new people into the ecosystem. They may not even own any TITANX, so we're trying to easily onboard them where they don't even need that. They can just show up with ETH. So 1-for-1, E280. So if you've got 100 TITANX, you're getting 100 E280 tokens. And that's pretty straightforward there. There is a 48-hour cooldown period, we'd call it, before you can claim any tokens. And that's just to prevent gaming of the system. We didn't want people just minting and then immediately dumping on the market. So there's this 48-hour period that they have to wait to allow the rest of the users to react to what's going on.
Gotcha.
As far as the ETH goes, all it's doing is taking that ETH and buying TITANX on the market. And then with that TITANX, then we're whatever. So say you want to mint 1 million E280. We're going to say, well, that's roughly, so that would be 1 million TITANX cost. And say that cost roughly 0.1 ETH. Well, you buy with 0.1 ETH, we go buy that TITANX on the market, and then say you get 1.1 million TITANX. Well, we're going to take that and mint 1.1 million E280 on that. So like whatever your exchange is with the ETH to TITANX, we're going to 1-to-1 that. Does that make sense?
It makes absolutely sense.
Okay.
So there's gonna be like in the UI like a switch or something so that either you have TITANX or ETH. So let's say on the ETH part, let's say I don't know you want 0.1 ETH to send 0.1 ETH. So you can only know after the exchange has happened how much TITANX you've gotten. Is that how you do it? Like after you?
It's going to be you select the amount of E280 that you would like to mint. If you're minting with TITANX, that's easy. It's 1-for-1. But if you're minting with the ETH, we're going to estimate how much ETH it's going to take to acquire, 1 million TITANX. So you're putting in the amount you want to mint, and then it'll estimate. Like I said, it's 0.1 ETH, and then from there, whatever happens.
All right, fair enough. That's good. So I think the token minting part, I think it's somewhat clear. So let's come to the NFT minting as well. And after the NFT minting, I'm going to ask you some few questions like what is the difference between the both minting, because there is some advantages one to the other. So if we just stick to the NFT minting now, the mint phase is very similar, 28 days as well. And yeah, probably could you explain how the NFT minting here works as well?
Sure. Yeah, the minting will be when the minting goes live, both tokens and NFTs will go live at exactly the same time. Just to point that out. And then same thing, I guess if you want to scroll down to the tiers.
Yeah.
Like so say you want to mint a common NFT down at the bottom. It's going to cost you 100 million TITANX, and that is backed by 100 million E280. So you're still getting that 1-for-1 price on these NFTs. It's the exact same as if you minted 100 million E280, it would cost you 100 million TITANX. We're doing the exact same ratio here. So like the cost to do either side is the same. The difference with the NFT is it earns you rewards, which we're going to go into a little bit later on. That's where your reward multiplier comes in on the right side there. And then there's also a 3% tax on burning your NFT to claim those tokens. So if you're burning your common NFT and you're getting 100 million E280, it's there's a 3% tax on that goes towards the other NFT holders. So that's a reason why, like, if you're a short-term player, then most likely the tokens are going to be what you're going to want to do, because there's it's the same cost rate, but you don't have that NFT burn tax. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And also, I guess you can also, with the tokens, you can sell, I don't know, just a few percentage of those at a time.
Yes,
The
exactly.
NFT, it's like you need to, yeah, like either sell it open sea or completely go liquid.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So minting the NFT, there is no cooldown. As far as like this, the second you mint this NFT, it goes into your wallet, and you're immediately available to earn your passive rewards, your E280 rewards. But there is still the 48-hour cooldown if you're wanting to burn that NFT to claim those tokens that are backed. So again, it's for the same reason. We don't want people minting NFTs and then immediately burning them to, sell on the market. There needs to be a little bit of a delay there.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, all right. I think this is also clear. We have, yeah, the token minting, and then we have the NFT minting. So probably for the viewers out there, why would somebody, let's say, choose the minting, the token minting rather than NFT minting? I mean, probably can you go into that as well?
Yeah, again, like the tokens are extremely liquid. So that if depending on your strategy, like the way I see me participating in this would be, I'm going to immediately mint an NFT, and that way I've got an NFT in my wallet, and I am earning rewards off of all of the taxes that are going on with people selling and burning their NFTs, all of those things. Like I want to be immediately earning those rewards. But if I'm trying to also compound my position, then it would make sense to, like I said, mint an NFT first, and then go over and then just mint some tokens. And then when I decide, oh, this is a good ROI, I can sell these tokens on the market, recover my TITANX plus some profit, and then possibly compound that into minting more tokens. Um, Basically, like with the liquid tokens, that's really for the short-term traders that are trying to either compound their position or just make short-term plays. Whereas like the NFT side, that's more geared towards the people that are that believe in the ecosystem and this project and have intentions of holding that NFT for, I would say, at least the duration of the mint phase, 28 days.
All right. I see. I think we're going to talk a bit more, but now let's just jump to all that TITANX which gets sent to the smart contract essentially gets distributed. We have here TITANX distribution, both on the token minting side and also the NFT minting side. So let's jump into the TITANX distribution and LP creation. So here, could you probably just explain how this works?
Yeah. So yeah, you've got it. Your token, whether it's token or NFT minting, it's all going into one single pool, like you say there. And then 100% of that is going onto the buy and burn, minus the first. So there's this one-time event that we've got, this 200 billion. As soon as we get 200 billion, we will move that off to the side to do the LP creation. And at that point, we will have the 6% Genesis, 4% Helios Treasury. That's when we will take some of that TITANX. And then the other 90% of that goes on to LP creation.
Fantastic. So, I mean, essentially, the first 200 billion TITANX goes to LP creation and distribution to the treasury in Genesis, and then once that has been done, it all flows then to the buy and burn.
Exactly.
Or
100%.
essentially to the different buy and burns, right? Because there is more than one, right? There is like several buy and burns, essentially, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think we're
Yeah,
gonna
we'll go
look
into
into
that as
all
well.
of that. Yeah, we're gonna go down. Yeah, but there's I don't know exactly how many, but definitely more than one.
Yeah.
I'll
Yes.
tell you that. So I think here let's go to the LP creation, right? Because I just wrote here LP creation 180 billion TITANX. This is essentially the 180 billion here. So
Yes.
now what have drawn here is essentially now just as an example the creation of the two LPs here. So this is just an example that we're going to be creating E280 Helios LP and E280 Dragon X LP. So probably before we jump even to how this gets created, um, could you probably just explain like why is the idea to have a lot of these different LPs, essentially to LPs with all the ecosystem tokens? Like, why do you even bother?
That's I mean, the main marketing selling point of E280 is it's when I say it's like owning a piece of the entire ecosystem, that the reason it is like that is because of the bonding of the LPs. So just like we've seen with Helios or Dragon X, by bonding that LP with TITANX, we are getting that price performance of TITANX. If TITANX goes up, so does Helios, so does Dragon X, the whole ecosystem. So it's going to be that same idea, but like a layer 3 or a layer 4 bonding. So if TITANX goes up, Helios goes up, Dragon X goes up, E280 also goes up. But if you've got just an individual ecosystem token like Helios, if it goes up individually, well, that E280 pair is going to catch that price movement as well. So it's E280 with the bonded liquidity of all of the ecosystems, including TITANX. It's capturing the price performance of all of the tokens.
Gotcha. All right. I think that's very well explained. So probably let's just jump into the first version here. So we have the 180 billion. So a percentage of that will go to this great E280 Helios LP function. I mean, that's what I wrote here. So probably could you explain how this works, especially from the white paper? I haven't seen how much percentage of the TITANX. You haven't. Uh, do you know the percentage already or not yet?
No, we don't, because we don't know what all is going to be launched. We want to include projects that are not live yet, like Hydra or Pulsar, Flux, Volt. There's a list of projects that are looking to launch this month or very soon. So we're going to, that's going to be like the last variable that we decide on right before launch is, okay, these are all the projects that are out and running. So we're going to include these, and then we will decide what percentage allocation to each project at that time. Because otherwise, we're going to be constantly changing the percentages as new projects come out, and it would get messy. So, and the LP creation and the buy and burn distribution, that's the same percentages. So if Helios gets 10%, the LP creation is going to get 10% of the TITANX going to create the LP, and then 10% of the buy and burn allocation will go towards the Helios buy and burn. So the percentages are the same. So let's just say like Helios gets 10%. So 10% of 180 billion TITANX is 18 billion TITANX. So then we will take that 18 billion, split it into 10 equal purchases. So 10 1.8 billion buys of TITANX into Helios. And then once that 10th purchase comes in, the smart contract will see, okay, the 10th buy is in, that is complete, and then it will create the LP with the acquired Helios tokens and the E280. So also, I guess I skipped a step there. Before any of this, we will, in the process, we are going to mint 1-for-1 E280s. So there's 180 billion TITANX in the LP pool. We're going to mint 180 billion E280 tokens. Yeah, okay. I didn't even see that over there. It's hiding.
It's hiding. Yes, it is true. So probably regarding here the 180 billion E280 tokens, is this going to be distributed to all of the
Right. So
creation? Okay.
Helios is getting a 10% allocation in this example. It's getting 18 billion TITANX. It's also going to get 18 billion E280 tokens.
Okay.
So whatever 18 billion TITANX buys in Helios, let's just say that buys 2 billion Helios, then we will create the LP with 2 billion Helios and 18 billion E280 tokens.
Okay, I see. So, okay, hold on a second. You whatever how much Helios you got, you're gonna mint exactly that the same amount or not?
No. So it's 1-for-1 with the TITANX. So
Oh, I see. Okay,
it's
now I
getting
understand.
the
I
exact
understand.
same percentage. There's
Oh,
180 billion E280
got you.
tokens. It's getting 10% of that pool of E280 and
So,
10% of the pool of TITANX.
okay, I see. So the same percentages as how much TITANX it gets essentially to create that pool.
Yes.
I see. Okay. Now I understand. All right. Okay, that's and let's talk about the liquidity pool here. So this is, as an example, this is going to be a Helios E280. It's going to be a V2 pool. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Probably like, what is the reason why you chose V2 instead of, let's say, V3?
Primarily, there's a sell tax, and you can't do any taxable tokens on a V3 pool. Otherwise, we would probably have considered V3, but it's just going to be V2, and we're fine with V2, so just go with it.
All right. So once you have created that LP, what are you going to do with the LP tokens?
They get burned.
They get burned. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
and
also
that's another bonus of a V2 pool is there's no rewards to claim. The rewards just get accrued in the LP tokens. So by burning those LP tokens, it's basically automatically compounding. Any trading fees that get added, it just automatically is burning those tokens essentially.
yeah, that's a great. By the way, we got Jake in the house. Hey, he says.
What's up, Jake?
What's up, Jake? So we got 44 icon 33 says Helios most undervalued in TITANX ecosystem. Look at that supply and market cap versus the others. All
Yeah,
right, man.
I love it. Utah as well. What's up? And Rain Man. Lots of the Blaze team. They're everywhere. They're always around. I love it.
Fantastic. So I
Yeah.
think maybe we're gonna jump to probably some few questions later on. His top reviews. He's asking already how the burn works. So I'm not sure what burns you're talking about, but
Yeah,
he
we'll
was
get
it.
there.
Is he talk? Yeah, we're gonna get into that as well.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is what you have seen here so far. This was just an example how one of the LP is gonna be created, and in this example, this was the Helios E280 Helios. I've made a second example here just to illustrate what is going to happen, and that is essentially here the DragonX LP. So these pools here already exist essentially, and so they're just going to buy DragonX. The same thing as what happened up here is going to happen here as well.
Yes, and across all of the LPs. And this
Across
is
all of the LPs, yes.
yeah, and again, this is a smart contract that's doing this. So it's not like all these tokens are just going to my wallet and I'm manually making these plays. It's in the smart contract, and then there's going to be an owner function where I say buy Helios, buy DragonX, buy Baby DragonX. And then once I click that function 10 times, it automatically will create that LP. And then once all of the LPs are created, when the smart contract sees, okay, there's 12 tokens, once that 12th LP pool gets created, it will see that, and then it will enable trading on the market. So up until this point, no tokens can be bought or sold. So like even if the Helios LP is created, and I'm still creating the other 8 LPs, that LP is going to be locked until the whole process is complete.
Gotcha. Fantastic. We got Jake in the house, as I said earlier, and he has some questions. So let's start with that question straight away. We're not completely through, but maybe, you know what, we're going to hold off a little bit here because the sale tax will come a bit later. So, dude, if I forget, remind me because we're going to be talking about the sale tax a bit later on. But let's jump. Let's jump now. I think this was pretty clear so far for everybody. So essentially, this happens to all the other LPs, and I just illustrated here with 2 of them. So now let's jump to the buy and burn, because if we scroll up here, after the first 200 billion, it's only for the LP creation and the other distribution, and then all the other TITANX coming in go straight to the buy and burn. So now let's go and check the buy and burn. And essentially, for every LP, there's going to be an individual buy and burn, or a
Yes.
function, or but you could say like they have different LPs. So this LP here, which is the Helios E280, this is the example which we're gonna look up here how it works. But essentially, they all work very, very similar. So let's look at the example with Helios as the ecosystem token here. Yeah, probably, can you just go ahead and essentially explain how this all works?
Yeah. So after the LP creation is complete and that one-time event is done, any TITANX that is now coming in from either mints or even if somebody were to donate TITANX to the buy and burn contract, what it's going to do is there's a distribute function that will distribute that TITANX to the set percentage to each ecosystem pool. So again, if Helios is 10%, any TITANX that goes into this contract, 10% of it will be allocated towards the Helios buy and burn. And so that pool is just filling up with TITANX. On a buy and burn event, so somebody goes to the website and they click on the Helios buy the burn button. That is when the TITANX goes to 100% of the TITANX. So let's say the cap per swap is 1 billion TITANX. When you click the button, 1 billion TITANX goes and buys Helios, 100% of that. And then we take that Helios that we acquire, 6% of that is going to Genesis, and then 4% is going to the Helios treasury. And then we take 10% and just straight burn those tokens. And this is where you get us burning all of the ecosystem tokens, which I think is super exciting. And then the other 80% goes on to, you take that Helios onto the 280 Helios LP and buys the 280 and burns it, 100% of that, whatever it gets.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this was pretty much clear. So the one thing which I forgot here was actually that there is a trigger which a user can can trigger. And so how will the buy and burn can you explain how the buy and burn works actually? Because there's going to be like an interval, or like what can you adjust?
You could expect it to be the same as like TITANX V2 or the Helios. Helios is probably closer because Helios deals with ETH and TITANX. But same thing that you could expect. There's going to be a interval time that will be set, and then a cap per swap amount. So once that interval hits 0, anybody, it's a public function, anybody can click that button. There will be a small incentive fee paid in TITANX to that user for clicking the button. And we're going to make that incentive fee a variable that we can adjust so that if, say, gas prices spike super high, we can adjust that incentive fee a little bit higher so that people aren't losing money pressing the button. And then if gas prices come back down, we can readjust that back down. But the goal will be to set that incentive fee just barely profitable for people to press it. Um,
Gotcha. Is this something like a learning you had with the Helios mine burn?
yeah, exactly. There was probably like 2 months of you were losing money if you were pressing the buy and burn button. And I love the Helios community because it kept running. It kept running, and people were pressing that button at a loss for 2 months.
Amazing,
Um,
amazing.
so we want to adjust for that. And like now it's profitable to press the button with nothing changing.
Gotcha.
It just because the gas prices are much lower than what it was previously. So we like the idea of being able to adjust that to where um, people aren't forced to press these buttons at a loss.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, I mean, essentially, these are going to be the few admin keys for the buy and burn, right? Changing the interval, changing the amount per swap. Is that correct?
Yes,
And
exactly.
also changing
It's
the reward percentages, right?
yes, and slippage.
And slippage. Okay. Yeah. 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 All right. Yeah. That's. I think this is pretty much clear on my end, and I think is there anything you want to say regarding the buy and burn? I think it's fairly clear now for the people out there, and probably one more thing to add: there is going to be buy and burn for, let's say, DragonX E280. Um, and all the hyper E280. So all of them, essentially, all the ecosystem tokens are going to be represented, and they will all have their own buy and burn.
Yes, and I guess what I want to point out is the same thing with any of these uh, other tokens. Sorry, I'm getting notifications to turn this off. One thing to note is this is TITANX going in. And so through the Helios pool, the TITANX, you've got Helios and E280 here. When that TITANX goes to buy Helios, it's pushing up the price of Helios and E280 at the same time. And then when that Helios goes to buy E280, it's going to then push up the price of E280 in that LP. So every one of these buy and burns is going to be like a double leverage press, or even 3 times. Like if you think of Baby Dragon X is a great example. When you click the burn button on the Baby Dragon X, you've got the TITANX buying Dragon X, which presses up the price of Baby Dragon X and the E280 paired with it. And then when it goes to buy the Baby Dragon X, it's pressing up Baby Dragon X and E280 with it. And then it goes to buy E280, pressing it up a third time. So these are all going to be like 2 and 3 layer plays every time that button's pressed. So I think the price action is going to be very interesting on this, with 15 different buy and burns all buying. And it's going to pump the entire ecosystem with each one because it's buying the ecosystem tokens on every click. So, and then of course the E280 is getting that double or triple pump.
So let me ask you this: is the buy and burn? Is it? Is there going to be one button to like trigger them all, or is that
No,
individual?
individual. They
Oh, I
will
see.
have, because there's different allocations. If one token's got 3% allocation and another one's got 12%, you're gonna have to adjust the amounts. Like like if it's a smaller LP, you don't want to throw $10,000 worth of TITANX into an LP that, like, we need to customize each buy and burn for that LP, if that makes
Gotcha.
sense, because they're going to be different allocations.
Absolutely, yeah. Probably starting very conservative and then adjust more to aggressive, I guess.
Right, right. And this
Yeah.
will start up as soon as the LPs are created. I'm expecting the first 200 billion to come in on day one. And then, how long does it take to make 10 purchases of each token? I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours just to be safe. I don't know. Um, and then trading should start. So you're looking at, maybe, I don't know, as little as 4 or 5 hours, or as most maybe 10 or 12 hours before all the LPs are created and the buy and burns can be turned on.
All right. We have another question here from Adamus. That's lit. So the 4% of every BNB for every token burned is going to HLX Treasury?
That is correct. Yep.
That is great.
So that's what the vision of Helios was to begin with, was to be this protocol that has multiple treasuries that have several avenues of value creation. So even if nobody's mining Helios, our treasuries are still growing, and those treasuries are earning rewards and buying and burning the Helios token. And that's with no inflation required, no mining. These things are still going to be happening. So
All right, dude. I mean, probably there is potentially some new people watching here. Could you probably give a quick, brief explanation what the Helios Treasury is?
yeah, the first one we've got is TITANX, and a portion of any TITANX that is used to mine Helios goes towards this treasury. We stake it, lock it forever, and then with that treasury, we are earning ETH from the TITANX staking pool. And just real quick, I was looking at it earlier. We are currently looking at earning, we have just over 3% of the entire TITANX staking pool. And we're looking at 250,000 in rewards coming in. With 53 days from now, we've got the 369 payout, which is looking at 77 ETH, currently $170,000. And so what we're going to do, like I think Blaze is a great example on what we would do. Like, so 4% of all the Blaze that runs through this is going to our treasury. We can take that Blaze and create a treasury with it, and now we have staked Blaze, and that Blaze will be earning ETH as well. And so by doing that, we have multiple treasuries in place. And even if one treasury is not producing, like say nobody's mining TITANX, so there's no staking rewards coming in at that time, well, maybe Blaze is hot at that moment and we're earning ETH from that Blaze. And then, a few months later, TITANX mining kicks in, and now we're getting a bunch of ETH coming in from that as well. But, down the road, we could have, 10 treasuries. And with all of those treasuries, at least some of those are going to be firing off more than others. But the key is that the HLX token will be constantly being burned from all of these rewards with no user interaction. Like everybody could sell all the Helios, leave, stop mining, go away forever, and we're still going to continue to buy and burn the Helios token. And at a certain point, the price will go to a level where people will come back. So
Fantastic. Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, that was a good recap regarding the Helios Treasury. So that's something absolutely amazing on the Helios ecosystem. So now, lastly, let's look at the NFT holders benefit from the reward pool, and also we're gonna look how the taxing works. I think yeah. So this is essentially this is the reward pool, and we also have the NFT tiers here again, so that we can have a look at that. Yeah, but let's start first, maybe here with how the reward pool gets filled up.
there's a 0% buy tax and a 5% sell tax. We've got, let me pull up the breakdown. 3% of that 5% sell tax goes to NFT holders. So by holding an NFT, you're getting 3% of every cell on the market. And then 1% is going to just straight burn the E280 token to keep this. This token will be deflationary with every cell forever. And then another 1% will go towards the Genesis / Helios treasury. And that's your total of the 5% there.
Okay, okay. I think probably then I misread that. So it's I thought it was the 5% goes straight to the reward pool. That's not correct, right?
No, that's just 3% will be going to the reward pool.
Okay, so 3% of cell tax.
And
Okay,
then
go.
and then 1% burn, 1% Helios treasury / Genesis.
Okay, okay, okay. And there's also the other part, which is the 3% tax for burning the NFT. Could you explain that as well, please?
So when you want to claim the E280 tokens that are backed by your NFT, you're paying a 3% burn tax there as well. And it's the same distribution on a smaller scale. So out of that 3%, 1.8% is going to the reward pool. And then you've got 0.6% burns the E280 and 0.6% going to Genesis / the Helios treasury.
All right.
So,
Okay.
so if you're holding an NFT, you're getting paid every time somebody else crushes their NFT, and your share of the rewards pool is going up because that's one less NFT in existence.
I see. I see. So, oh, okay. So this is like the NFT going to the token is a one-way street.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
So,
So
so
the
once.
NFTs will be
Mhm.
deflationary along with the token being deflationary.
Okay, but the NFT deflationary comes from people turning that NFT to be tokens, right?
Exactly. Yeah, to redeem the backing of the backing E280 tokens.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So you, as long as you have the NFT in your MetaMask, anytime there is a reward in the reward pool, you can always claim your reward, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And
And
you,
you can sell, you can post your NFT for sale on the marketplace, and that NFT is still earning rewards. So when somebody comes in and buys that NFT, they could immediately buy it, put it in their wallet, and then go to the website and claim whatever's rewards are there to claim while it was sitting there on the marketplace.
I see, I see. So let's probably talk now a bit about the reward multiplier here, because I think this is something which you touched on earlier on. Could you explain that a little bit more regarding the, yeah,
Yeah, sure.
the
Can
reward
you
multiplier?
zoom in on it just a little bit?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I'm going to probably just make it bigger. Let's see, how's that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that better?
Yeah.
All right.
So let's see. Let's go over the amped option. So there's
Mhm.
common, rare, and legendary. They have the same. They have it. The cost to mint is going to be 1-for-1 still. So whether you're minting one legendary or 100 commons, you're going to be getting it'll be the same cost, the same backing, the same reward multiplier. Like if you see legendary has got a 100x reward multiplier, 100 commons would equal a 100x multiplier. And what the multiplier is I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. The amped option, you can opt to burn an additional 10%. So you're looking at the rare. It cost 1 billion TITANX to mint, backed by 1 billion E280 tokens.
Yeah.
If you if you burn 100 million TITANX, which was 10%, you're getting a 20% boost in your reward multiplier. So instead of 10x, you're getting 12x.
Okay. So can you like what does the 100 million TITANX burn? What does that mean?
That's you are burning TITANX tokens. These get burned and taken off the market forever.
Oh,
Uh,
you're burning like straight. Okay.
yeah. So
But
that Go ahead.
But you don't send it to get staked or anything like that?
No, this is straight burn. Yeah.
Okay,
We
why did you choose that option? Probably that would be interesting.
I like to keep the original vision of TITANX. The focus of it was for these projects to be burning these tokens, and that's um, like essentially that's what we were all here for to do. Now I understand like sticking them in the Helios treasury and locking them up forever. That's taking them out of circulation the exact same way, but it's still um, I guess it would still dilute the staking pool somewhat by doing that.
Gotcha.
Really, the biggest factor I think is I don't want this to show a big fat zero on TITANX Hub for TITANX burned.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough, man. So
Uh,
I at least I achieved something.
yes, yeah. It needs to be on the leaderboard with something there.
Yeah.
Now we are
But the
putting
thing is,
TITANX.
like, I also include the staking there as well. So that's that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Either
So
way,
there's
either
yeah.
way, there's still a majority of it that is getting sent to the Helios treasury. So it is still collecting TITANX, but there is this one aspect. I just really like the idea of burning. So that I wanted to keep that in this project. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
and this is all optional, so if you don't want to burn, you don't need to. You're getting the same mint cost and the same backing. The burning feature is just to give you a higher reward multiplier. So
Gotcha.
it's
So probably a little bit more about the reward multiplier. So let's say I earn, I don't know, I have 10% of the share pool. Like, what will the multiplier do
well
if I choose?
the multiplier is what how you do the math on what your share of the pool is. So
Mhm.
say the entire pool is, so what we're going to do is you add up the reward multiplier of every NFT in existence.
Mhm.
And then if you've got a rare that's a 10x multiplier, you
Mhm.
are uh, you're taking that 10 and then dividing it by the total reward multiplier. So if there's 10 rares in existence,
Mhm.
that's a total of 100x. And
Okay.
then your one rare is 10x, so you got 10 out of 100. You've got 10% of the staking pool.
Gotcha.
So that's how we're doing the math on that. And so that's like every time somebody burns their NFT, that global reward multiplier number
Mm.
is going down, but your number is staying the same. So now you're getting a larger share of the pool every time somebody burns.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. So I think now we're gonna go to the interesting part of it, and this is how the sale tax works. And I think had Jake earlier on have a bit of a question here. So probably I think there is some mistakes which I've done here, which is I had written 5% sale tax. Well, that is true, but the distribution
It's
is a
not,
bit more different,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
So we're gonna fix this live. um so there is a 5% tax, that is correct, but okay, this is doing live is probably not the best idea, but we're gonna still do our best. So it's actually only 3% which goes to the reward pool, and the other one was
Burn
okay, burn.
1%, and then 1% to Genesis / Helios Treasury.
Okay. 1% to, oh, this is also 1%.
Yes.
So this is Genesis / Helios treasuries. I'm just
So
gonna
the
do it.
Helios, yeah. So the Helios Treasury is going to be, with the buy and burns, the Helios Treasury is going to be accumulating the ecosystem tokens, and then with this sell tax, the Helios Treasury will be accumulating E280 tokens.
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
So when we do the buy and burns, that's
Yes.
where the Helios treasury is accumulating all of the ecosystem tokens in that
Yes.
process.
Yep.
Now, in this process on the sell tax, that tax is in E280. So the Helios treasury in this area will be earning E280 tokens.
Gotcha. I see. I understand. Yep. Absolutely. So let's just go through the process here of actually if somebody has some E280 tokens and they want to sell. So if they have, let's say, 100 E280, this is just an example. 5% of that will be taken away before it even gets swapping. So 95% of that E280 will be used to swap. In this example, this is the Helios E280 V2 pool, and then they're just going to receive that Helios. But they could be selling here to any other pool. Essentially, could have been also DragonX, for instance. A Helios here is just an example. So now, and then the distribution is what we just talked about. So I'm gonna scroll down a little bit here so that we can see what question Jake had posted early on. So, question about the sell tax: are you sure the sell tax can be circumvented by someone creating a non-uni V2 pool on any other DEX and just selling through there?
So that is possible, but the thing is there's not going to be any liquidity. Like that user would have to provide liquidity for them to sell their own tokens into that LP pool. Whereas like the LP pools that we're creating, we're creating that, and the buy and burn is going to be directed towards that. So, you know, you could create another LP pool, but what we've got is going to have, what I'm hoping, multiple trillions of TITANX running through these LP pools that are, official, I would, say. So I don't think it's going to be worth, I think the slippage is going to be worse than paying the tax on the primary LP. Although, if I think he had a suggestion, we're definitely open to looking at, it needs to be buy and sell tax to prevent this, so it applies to
I
all
mean, I
trade
can read
pools.
this out. So
Yeah,
Jake says, pretty sure I've seen a tax on this. Probably needs to be buy and sell tax to prevent this. So it applies to all
that,
created pools equally on transfer function.
yeah. So when you do that, you're also adding a tax on transfers. So even if you send tokens from your wallet to another of your own wallet, that gets taxed. So there's pros and cons to it, and like I said, we can kind of discuss these in more detail off screen, obviously. But the idea is we want the entry, like there's no tax on getting in on, like there's, because there's the buy and burn, which we can absolutely make that an exempt to taxes. But um, what were you going to say?
I mean, the other question would be on the transfer function. If you can whitelist the LPs so that they don't get taxed, or like I don't know if am I thinking that correctly?
No, because
Or if you
I mean,
transfer it to another wallet, it's still
yeah.
okay. Okay.
You know what we
Mm.
we'll think of some ideas. That's a good point, and we will take that into account on what we're building and see if we can figure out a way to prevent that, or how to at least mitigate it. But as it stands, I really think, if you've got a pool with $200,000 in liquidity, I would imagine that people are still going to be using that because there's going to be way less slippage on that than a pool with $2,000. So uh, it may not even make sense as designed for that to work, but we will definitely
Mm.
look into it.
I guess when the audits come, the auditor will will have a word about that as well. Jake is jumping in again, so shout out to you. He's listening in live. Users create
Yeah.
other LPs all the time. It's not hard to create a 5K LP on another DEX with TITANX E280. then others user will just migrate over there. Our bots will use it, and MV would use it
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. It's just the question of how much slippage is there on 5K over, 200K LP. Like how much trading volume is that going to attract? I don't know. It's a good question. We can, like I said, we can look into that for sure. What I wanted to avoid was just taxing for any transfer whatsoever, because that's really the only solution like he's offering, is just to have a straight buy and sell tax. Like any movement of tokens gets taxed, and that way you can't circumvent it anyway. But I also need to look into what it looks like with a V3 pool with a tax token. Yeah, I'll look into it. That's very good points, and we will make sure that that's either mitigated or not possible.
Gotcha. All right. So let me just look if there's any other questions here. Uh, so just some few. Helios was super unlucky with the Gwei back then. Yeah, the
Yes,
Gwei was high, man.
it
Now
was
things
insane.
Gwei just dropped. It's crazy. Adamos is saying, dude. All right, so let's see here. Buy and burn doesn't last forever. Eventually, users migrate to best deal pools.
Sure.
Uh, Massive attack angle, in my opinion, and fraud angle. Just make it buy and sell tax. If you're going to have the tax label, just go for it all. It's great
Sure.
game theory.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what he's offering is definitely a more foolproof plan that's not going to allow people to sidestep what you're trying to do here. And really the only major downside would be, like I said, just transferring your tokens. If you want to migrate from one wallet to another, you're going to get taxed on that. That's really the main downside.
He's jumping on. Jake is having a lot of nicotine today. He's saying it will attract all the volume because it's better deal. Users and bots go for better deals, I guess. Yeah.
Well, we will work it out. Absolutely. We've got time.
All right. And V3 tax tokens don't work. V2 only works with taxes. Yeah. I think that's
Exactly.
also what you mentioned earlier, right?
Which that's my question, is if somebody creates a V3 pool, how does that even work if it doesn't work? I don't know. I'll look into it for sure.
All right. Yeah.
And then
So
the only other thing that I was going to add here is during minting, the tax will be increased greatly. Like currently we've got it from 5% going up to 20%. The reason being here is people are going to there's going to be short-term traders attracted to this. There's going to be people that are going to want to compound positions, and when they do that, so say the ROI is currently 25%. So $1 of TITANX gets you $1.25 in E280. Well, they're going to do that. They're going to pay the 20% tax and still get a 5% return. So they're still making money, and you better believe they will be doing it. That's what, arbitrage bots, they take 0.01% ROI. They make trades because it's DeFi. If they don't do it, somebody else will. So I think this will be the same way, where you've got people, short-term players, that are going to be minting and then selling as soon as possible, and to either take their profits and leave, or take those profits and compound it back into the system to create a larger position. The key aspect here is, while they're doing that, it's still very possible, but while they're doing that, they're paying all of the existing Diamond Hand NFT holders. This is like 16% of that 20% will be going to the NFT holders. So basically what this is doing is allowing those people to compound and make those arbitrage plays, And they're sharing all of those profits with people that are just sitting there holding an NFT.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then once the mint phase is over, we go drop it down to the regular 5%. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, probably just before we finish it off, while I was preparing, it does take me quite some time to prepare all this. I don't know. It's like probably for this was like 3 hours or so. Just reading it, like drawing and making things a bit easier to understand. Because my goal is like, hey, I interview you here, and the viewers out there should understand what they're, and they make the best decisions if they understand it as good as possible. So that's what I'm trying my best here as well. So Jake is also, he's firing away today. Another point is that aggregators and DEX routers go to the best user deals, most token output. So all non-tax angle pools will get all volume after BNB runs out.
that is a good point.
Uh,
I
Go
don't
ahead.
intend on the buy and burn to run out. This is designed to accept ETH or TITANX or any of the ecosystem tokens, and it will distribute them to the appropriate pools and continue burning these tokens and E280 tokens.
Okay, but I mean that's after the mint phase. There is no more Titan. It's coming in essentially, right?
Correct. But say you build another project on E280 and there's TITANX that you can pull from this other project, then that can go into the E280 buy and burn and can keep it running.
All right.
Just very similar to like what Inferno has going on. They have a limited mint, they have a limited buy and burn, but that's not the end of the road for Inferno. There's still more going on. There's already projects being built on top of it. There's already things going built around it. I don't see E280 being any different than that.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So it seems like Jake is doing the auditing uh, right here from my.
It's greatly appreciated. I love all the feedback. I'm so excited that he's interested in it. He likes the idea. It seems overall, there's just a few little tweaks that we can make and make this a very powerful protocol.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, this was also a thing while I was preparing early on. I thought it was, yeah, I mean, the more I read about it and did my drawing, I was like, oh, this is extremely interesting, actually. I was like, dude, not too bad, man. This is a pretty good idea, I have to say. So I guess probably Jake, what he was basically saying is you might as well just have the tax label and just go all out.
Yeah,
I think that's primarily what he's trying to say here with all these feedbacks.
yeah.
Yeah.
That yeah. So I'm very excited about this, and I think this will attract a lot. Obviously me, but I think there's other builders that will be interested in working on top of this as well, because of all of the volume that's going to be running through the E280 token is going to be massive, in my opinion. For all those people that are running from Dragon X to Helios or back and forth, maybe they take the E280 route because that's a better deal over the TITANX. I think arbitrage bots are going to find it. No doubt. I've seen that with Giannis, with having 40 LPs. There's constant buying and selling, and it's all bots. Just, finding tiny little bits of ROI, buying and selling. They don't care what the token is. And E280 is going to be no different. When the price differs on these different LP pools, an arbitrage bot is going to come in there and take pennies to equalize it. And then when they do that, they're paying this buy or sell tax, and they are paying the NFT holders. They're burning the token, all of these great things.
Fantastic. So, lastly, Jake is saying, I think Element 280 is great. All around tax fixes everything, plus makes the protocol better.
You heard it from the man. We will definitely take that advice and see what we can do. So
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking forward. Definitely, when you change that, let me know, and then I'll have a look at the white paper again.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm scrolling through here, but it seems like we got all the questions. Yeah, it seems like there's no more other questions. I think this was pretty clear. So maybe I'm just gonna scroll up again. And guys, just on the way out, don't forget to spank that like button, subscribe with the bell button, and obviously visit titanxsub.com. And if you like as well, click the premium button or titanxsub.com/premium. And yeah, lastly here, I really like this image here you created. So you having, these are all the pools essentially, right?
Mhm. Yes, I feel like it really shows off the TITANX ecosystem very well, because like it's amazing how much has been built on it in less than 1 year. Um, and it really, I feel like it really showcases all of the builders, all of the projects that are coming out, and I feel like there's really no sign of it stopping. Um, it's it's so amazing. I love it so much.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
man, same here. So guys, if you have any other questions or there was something which you misunderstood, please join dude on the Telegram. The Element 280 Telegram is right there. There's a QR code here, and otherwise be loud on Twitter and ask questions on Twitter as well. Dude is waiting for you there, and he'll answer all your questions. So thank you, dude, for being here, man.
Thank you for building all these diagrams. You do a great job of really helping people understand. And I do want to point out that, like, as I'm working on the UI, it looks amazing. That some of this stuff sounds complex when you go through all these diagrams that you've got.
Yes.
It really helps the user understand it if they want to, but like for most people that, this is too much for them, the website will be very clear and straightforward on what you're doing, what you're getting. A very simple process. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha.
we're definitely like making that a priority to cater to somebody that doesn't even own TITANX or know anything about it. This is going to be an onboarding process for them. Like, do this, and now you're in the entire ecosystem. And then after that, you can kind of take your time to delve into each individual project and say, oh, I like this or I like that. And then they can kind of go from there. So
Fantastic. All right, dude. And to the viewers out there, thank you for being here. And I'll see you next time, dude. Have a good one, mate.
thanks. See ya.
Adios. So.